that you're here with us tonight. Number 75, if you would, if you have a hymn book. In the Sweet By and By, we'll sing all three verses.
Good evening, song number 75, Sweet By and By. Song number 75, join me on the first verse. Song number 96, bring them in. Song number 96, we'll sing all three verses. Song number 96.
Put that in the comment section so that we can see that and we can know the prayer requests, and we'll have prayer for those here in just a little while. And my mind is telling me, somebody texted me today with a prayer request. I think it was Mrs. Nelson. So let me double check that. Also, I will tell you that we need to pray for double check some things. No, it wasn't Mrs. Nelson. death, and so we keep that family in prayer if we would. And so, let me see if I can, yes, I remember now. Miss Aubrey texted me today. Dave's parents were scheduled to move out here this week, and his mother, Susan, had a cyst in her shoulder that had to be removed. She's recovering from that small surgery. His father, Doug, tore his bicep muscle on Monday and needs to have surgery next Wednesday to fix it. And that's 4 to 6 weeks of recovery, so they're not looking to move out here until the middle of July. And so be praying for Doug and Susan Bryant, if you would. And we'll be praying for them as well. So those are the prayer requests that I have at this point. And so, yes.
Heather's pregnancy. Heather Jaquez?
Oh, okay, yes. The Nelson's daughter Heather is expecting, and that's good news. And Mrs. King said, Heather, there's at least 2 Heathers that are checking in on service. So I was fixing to get excited for the Millers, but apparently not. So pray for Heather Jaquez, yes.
Rebecca's grandma, Patricia Curry, has an appointment with the cardiologist.
Okay, so Miss Pat Curry has an appointment with the cardiologist. When did she say? Okay, so pray for Pat.
And then Jacob Stowe wants to pray for Vincent for injury.
Okay, pray for Vincent for injury. So right now, while those are fresh on my mind, let's go to the Lord in prayer as others come in. And ladies, you can keep up with that. Yes. And Josh's brother Fincher called me tonight. His neighbor that lived next door to him on Middleton, the wife had been battling cancer. She's passed away with cancer and lost that battle, so we need to be praying for that family. So let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, tonight, as we come to you in prayer, we are so thankful that we have this opportunity, that we have the ability to come into your presence at any given moment, have your undivided attention, and know with great confidence that you will hear our prayers, that you will meet needs, that you will lift burdens. And tonight, Lord, there's a number of things that we're praying for. I think of Brother Josh's neighbors, Lord, and this dear lady was good friends with theirs and attended the housewarming party, Lord. And she's passed away with cancer. We pray for her husband, that you strengthen him and help him. We pray for Heather, Lord. We're thankful and praise you for the gift that you've given them of another little one. We pray that you would just put your healing hand upon her, that you would guide her and direct her through this pregnancy, that everything take place without any problems and any complications, Lord. And Father, pray that you give them a healthy, beautiful baby, Lord. Father, I pray for Brother Dave's parents, both of whom have had surgeries. Hers has been a small one. His is coming up, and his will require 4 to 6 weeks of surgery. It puts off their move. I ask you to just intervene in that situation, Lord, and just meet each detail, help them both to recover quickly, Father. Lord, we pray tonight for my mind just slipped. For the other requests that have been mentioned tonight, Lord, you know what they are. We ask you to meet each need. We ask you to take care of those situations, Lord. And Father, we pray for Pat Curry tonight, who's going in to see a cardiologist, Lord. And we ask you to be with her, and ask you to be with the cardiologist and meet each need there. Just, Lord, we pray that whatever procedure needs to be done, that it will be done in a way that she could be recovered from as quickly as possible. We just ask you to strengthen her and help her, Lord. And Father, we pray for Vincent Stowe. He's had some type of injury. We don't know what it is. We ask you to meet each need there, Lord. We pray for Joshua and Caleb, Lord. We were praying for their whole house for a long time. And Lord, I have not received an update. Just earlier today I was told that he might possibly slip into eternity anytime today. We just ask, Father, that you would comfort this family, that you would strengthen them, that your grace would abound toward them, and may Josh and Caleb find comfort in you during this time, and may the entire family find comfort in you during this time. We pray these things now in Jesus' name. Amen. So I don't know if there are any other prayer requests. so those are the ones that came in tonight. If you have more prayer requests, go ahead and mention them. They'll get them to me before the message. I'll have a time of prayer for any others before the message, but it is good to have you here tonight. We're going to keep things moving a little bit. So just a few quick announcements. Friday night, we are having RU in the building. Okay, so those of you that come on to RU, we will be back in the building. We will start, I'll explain more of this in a little bit in the message, but we'll start some of the process of what we're going to be doing as we get services back in the building. We'll start that Friday night, and I'll explain that to you as we go along. So we are having RU Friday night. We will still live stream it, and our schedule will start changing as we move forward. We will live stream all services, whatever they may be. So if you cannot come, and if you're not comfortable coming yet, and that is quite all right. Please don't feel like you have to. If you're not comfortable coming yet, you can still get things on live stream, and we'll continue to do that. We're going to continue even after this whole coronavirus thing is over. Our plan, our intention is to continue the live stream and just keep reaching out that way. And so, but we are having RU on the property in the building on Friday night. We'll be able to do the proper social distancing. I wish you could look at our auditorium tonight. I have it set up for when we start coming back. The pews are 6 feet apart. We whittled it down from 115 chairs to 88 chairs. But we'll give you more information about that. But we are planning on having our Memorial Day picnic on Monday. So we're asking everybody to bring meat that needs to be, how do I want to do that? I guess, yeah, we'll bring the meat that needs to be barbecued. We'll barbecue. We may need to bring an extra barbecue grill just for social distancing purposes, but we'll cook that up. We'll have tables set up to put all the food on, and we'll take our time going through the line to practice social distancing, but I do want to get us together Monday out at Hickey Park. I'm going to double check that with the county park and rec tomorrow. I meant to do that today and I didn't. So if that changes, I'll let you know. But at this point, we're having our Memorial Day picnic on Monday out at Hickey Park. So and then Sunday morning 9:30 is our drive-in service, and so you want to be here for that. We had a good time this last week, and we will live stream that service as well. We had some folks visit that attend the church in Lemoore, but because of their situation, they're not able to get any live streaming. When they found out there was a church having services, they said, we got to have church. And so they came to church. And so I'm glad we were able to minister to them and help them. So those are our announcements. We're not going to take an offering in here tonight. Just simply say, again, if you need to give an offering, you can do so online. Some of you have already indicated to me that even after this is all over with, you're going to continue to give online. That is perfectly all right. And so you can do it online by going to NewTestamentBaptist.net/giving. You can text at 559-242-1699. You can send it to us here at the office at 1010 West Grangeville, Hanford, California 93230, or you can contact me and find out when I'm here, which I'm now here most of the day, most days. And so I've been back in the office now for a week and a half or so, and so you can just drop it by if that works best for you. Whatever will work best for you. Please understand, as we get moving forward here, it will be different, and we will do some things that we maybe have never done before. Just be patient and bear with us, and let's work through this, and let's trust the Lord for what He's going to do, and we'll be careful to give Him the praise and the honor and the glory. Jonathan, you come one more time, 163, only trust Him, and then I'll come back and we'll have the message.
Song number 163, Only Trust Him. We'll sing the first, second, and last verse this evening. Song number 163, join me on the first verse.
at Hebrews chapter 10 tonight. Hebrews chapter number 10 tonight. I don't know if, as you're looking at online, Facebook, somebody here can nod their head and let me know if you can see the title of tonight's message that I put on there. I don't know. Okay? If you can see the title, fine. If you cannot, let me give you the title. Reopening the Church. Mrs. Gagne is here tonight. She came by to pick up a list of people to call for wellness checkups, and she was bending my ear proficiently. When are we going to open back up? When are we going to open back up? And I wouldn't tell her because it's part of my message tonight. Now they want to jump the gun, Mrs. Gagne. So, but I want us to look at Hebrews 10, 24 and 25 tonight, and I have a lot of ground to cover, and I'm going to try to do it shortly, quickly at 7:19. I'm going to try to be done by 8 o'clock, so Brother Nelson can get his beauty sleep, and the Lord knows he needs all of that he can get. So Hebrews 10, 24 and 25, the Bible says, "And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching." Monday evening, I was on a conference call, a Zoom meeting with a bunch of pastors in this area, specifically about what are we going to do. And I made this statement to them that the word of the day is balance. And as I shared with you a few weeks ago before we started drive-in services, and I shared with you why we were doing that, we talked about the biblical principles that we're trying to balance. One is Romans 13:1, let every soul be subject unto the higher power. We are supposed to obey the authorities that God has placed over us. Folks, understand, authority is God's management system for your life. We also have this command here in Hebrews 10, 24 and 25, and I hear a lot as I've listened to a lot of people, a lot of them deal with Hebrews 10, 25, and they deal with the idea of not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. But there's more to that. The scripture here says, let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as a manner of some is, but exhorting one another. The scriptures say there are three things there that we are to do for one another. We're to provoke one another to love. We're to provoke one another to good works. We're to provoke one another by exhorting one another. And quite honestly, we cannot do that sheltered in place in our living rooms. I'm very, very grateful for the ability to live stream the services. I'm still very humbled by the faithfulness that you have shown through this time. But as you're sitting there in your living room and you're listening to the preacher preach, I can provoke you a little bit. But that's not what this verse says. It doesn't say, let the preacher provoke you unto love. Let the preacher provoke you unto good works. Let the preacher provoke you to exhorting one another. No, it says let us. It's a corporate thing. Church is not where you and I come and sit and somebody feeds us. We've gotten into that attitude. We've gotten into that mindset. That has to change. Moving forward, that has to change. We are dealing with a situation where the governor of Texas several weeks ago came out and said churches are essential. I've signed a petition that was supposed to go to the president, asking the President of the United States to come out and say churches are essential in America. Our governor, and I'm praying for our governor, but our governor has said, and I've heard this from a state senator that was in a meeting with the governor and several pastors a week and a half ago where the governor said that going to church is like going to a basketball game or a football game. He does not view it as being essential. But now listen to me. Church, I love you, but listen to me. You've been hearing me say all along, we have to come out of this different. Christians, by their actions, have been saying long before the coronavirus outbreak, church is not essential. I'm not going to read the entire article, and I don't normally do this, but a pastor friend of mine wrote an article today, 7 ways Christians make church non-essential. Listen to these. I'm not going to go through them, and I'm not going to tell you all the things he said, filling in the details. I'll let you fill in the details in your mind. Number 1, some Christians are forfeiting what they need most in exchange for what they want now. That's a tremendous statement. Number 2, some Christians are allowing the good things in this world to replace the best things God has for them. Number 3, some Christians have allowed weekly church gatherings to become optional in their personal life. Let me just stop there. That is very true. And for that reason, since so many Christians are treating weekly church services as optional, why should we expect the world to look at church and say, no, that's essential? Number 4, some Christians are prioritizing their own personal church preferences above God's mission for His church. That's a powerful statement. It's very true. Number 5, some Christians are becoming disenchanted when church doesn't automatically fix their problems instantly. Number 6, some Christians are allowing the hurt they experience from one congregation to keep them out of church completely. And number 7, some Christians have begun to forget the value and importance of a faith community. I'm going to read part of what he says here. It is easy to forget why church is important. We get bogged down with relational conflict and distracted by our preferences not being met, but ultimately church is about so much more than those petty things. A faith community is important because it is vital to human flourishing. It is a huge part of our spiritual formation. I don't have his permission to put this in print. I will get a hold of him because I'd like to have it in print for you so you can read it again. The church, moving out of this, we can no longer act like church is not essential. We can holler all we want about constitutional rights and about government overreach. But if we're going to do that, and we're going to talk about the politics of this, then we need to start being church like it's supposed to be. So, having said that, I am working on, and Lord willing, will have in your hands Saturday a document entitled Policies and Procedures for Reopening the Church. Some of the things that I put down in my notes when I talk to you about why we're going to drive-in services will be in that document. Drive-in services for me was a step towards getting back in the building. So let me just, I'm not going to go through all the details. This document, I hope, will be simple and yet detailed. There's a real balance that's got to be achieved there. But I believe it's time for our church to open its doors again. I believe it's time to do it in a safe manner, in a way that's protecting people. You say, why? Well, the Kings County supervisors have voted to open up our county. They voted a week ago, they voted on Friday to do that. yesterday the state come out and they have finally approved the county moving into phase 2. But the governor's phases for opening up, phase 2 doesn't include churches. If you've watched the news, and several news outlets have carried this, the Federal Department of Justice Civil Rights Division has sent a letter to Governor Newsom stating that his plan to reopen California discriminates against churches. And quite honestly, it's very ambiguous about what is really happening with the coronavirus. If you turn on the news, one politician says one thing, and another politician says something entirely different. I expect that from politicians, don't you? But medical doctors are not in agreement on this situation. There's no consistent agreement among the medical profession about the coronavirus. And if you've gone out around Hanford, how many of you, I wish I could see a show of hands, how many of you found out there's no consistent policy from one store to the next? And I'm not criticizing anybody's policy. The Smart and Final requires everyone to wear a mask, and right next to it is the 99-cent store. I don't believe they're requiring everybody to wear masks. And I'm not criticizing either one. Staples for a while was requiring everyone to wear a mask. They still have the signage up about masks, but I've walked in there several times without a mask. All the staff has a mask on. Some of the customers do, some of them don't. And I'm not up here to argue one way or the other about masks. I quite honestly haven't made a decision about that for our church. But because of the steps that our Kings County supervisors have taken, what the Department of Justice has said, plus my own conviction and much prayer, we are going back to church in the building on Sunday, May 31st. But please understand something. It will not be what it was before the coronavirus outbreak. I'm going to need your cooperation. I'm going to need your understanding. We will start with 3 services on Sunday morning. The 3 service times will be 8:30, 9 o'clock, and 11:30. We will use 8:30, 10 o'clock, and 11:30, not 9 o'clock. We will use the format we had for the New Testament 500 to form the groups that will be here, Ford, Dodge, and Chevy. This is what I'm calling phase 1. Phase 1 will run 6 weeks. That will take us through July 12th. Some of you, I can smell the rubber burning because you're thinking it's coming through the camera and you're thinking, which service do I want to go to? Well, good news for you. You get to go to each service twice in those 6 weeks. So what are you talking about, preacher? I'm setting a schedule, which team will be here for what service, and your team will be at the 8:30 service twice in 6 weeks, at the 10 o'clock service twice in 6 weeks, at the 11:30 service twice in 6 weeks. You'll get this information in print and all of that on Saturday. I'm also then going to split up our normal. I have a pretty good idea who's going to show up on Sunday night. I'm going to split that group that comes on Sunday night, Wednesday night into 2 groups. Group 1 will come Sunday night, the 31st. Group 2 will stay home and see the service live stream. On Wednesday night, Group 2 will be in the building, and Group 1 will be home viewing the service live stream. And we'll go back and forth like that. All of that will be in print for you. We will practice social distancing. Maybe after the service tonight, if you'll hang on for a few minutes, we'll take the camera and we'll turn around and let you see the auditorium, how it's set up. We will seat families together in pews. There's no probably to this. I will set up a seating chart based on how many people are in a family and what have you for social distancing. And so you won't just show up and find a spot. I will have a place for you. I will have ushers that will show you where your spot is. We will be checking temperatures at the door. We will have two what they call distance thermometers. It's just a little thing pointed at your forehead. We'll ask you a few questions, and we'll let you in, and we'll keep you spaced. Like I say, preacher, this is ridiculous. No, it's not. Listen to me. The reason I'm doing this, and I'm not alone in this, many churches are doing the same thing up and down the state. And the reason we're doing this is we are showing the governor and we are showing governments that we can meet and we can do it safely and we can take care of our people. And so we must do it correctly. I will need your understanding. You're going to sit there when you read this, you're going to go through some and say, I don't like that. Join the club. I don't like this either. But it's what we have to do. We will do this for 6 weeks. Then phase 2, for 4 weeks, we will have 2 services on Sunday morning, 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. At that time, we will look at starting coffee and donut fellowship. We will not do coffee and donut during the first phase. So Brother Scott, don't bring donuts May 31st. Okay? What?
Somebody has commented and asked about nursery,
There will be no nursery.
Sunday school.
There will be no Sunday school. That will be later on down the road. Okay? That's a good question. But I'm already working on that. There's a couple of reasons for that. But the biggest thing is, look, if you sat there and thought about it, 8:30 we'll have a service, 10 o'clock we'll have a service, 11:30 we'll have a service. We are going to be done in an hour for each service. We have to. Because we have to get people out of the auditorium. We have to sanitize the auditorium and get ready for the next crowd. Okay? We are purchasing what is called a Sammy Spray HP65. It's an air sprayer that will help us in a matter of minutes sanitize the entire auditorium. We'll have it done so we can, when people leave, we can sanitize the auditorium, give it a few minutes to take effect, and then we'll be ready for the next group. I will need a lot of help. In each of the 3 groups that will be coming, I will need someone, and I'm going to go through the list, and I'll probably be calling you and asking you. I will need people who would be willing to be out front, be here early, check temperatures. We will need people to help us with the sanitizing. We will need people to help us with all of the different things that are going on, and I'll lay all of that out in the document, in the policies and procedures for reopening. Phase 2, the morning service will be Sunday morning 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, and we'll probably, the phase 1, we're going to keep the crowds to 50 or less. Phase 2, we're looking at having 75 or less. Okay? And then that'll run about 4 weeks. Then phase 3 is maybe where we'll start having some nursery, maybe in some junior church, but we will have one morning service at 11 o'clock. But all of this is contingent on where this whole thing is. Okay? Phase 2, we will no longer have one group coming on Sunday night and another group coming on Wednesday night. I'm planning on opening up Sunday night and Wednesday night for our whole crowd, but we will see. That could change. It just kind of depends. At this point, my goal is the first Sunday of September would be wide open Sunday. That's my goal. That at the first Sunday of September, we'll have the choir in place. We'll have everybody have the auditorium back to the way it was, We'll have Sunday school, we'll have junior church. That even at that though, we're gonna have to talk to the landlord about using a little more space. We probably won't be having, for example, for Sunday school, we probably will not be having Mrs. Gagne's class and Miss Miller's class in the same room. We'll probably still need to spread them out to some degree. Right now, they're saying when school starts in the fall, they're gonna want schools to have, I don't know how the public schools are gonna do this. They're gonna want them to have 6 feet of distance between their desks in a classroom. I don't know how they're gonna do that. And so there's a lot of work here to accommodate this situation. Folks, please understand something. We are opening our church up without the governor's blessing. I know what's involved in that now, please hear me. I'm going to strongly advise certain people not come. I'm going to go on the record having said this. I'm going to strongly advise, and it will be in print, strongly advise certain people not to come. But if you are in that group of people and you choose to come, okay, I'm not going to turn you away. But it will be in print that I strongly advise you not to come. And I'll explain it. I have a hard time telling people not to come to church. And we have people that are perfectly healthy in the older age group that they're telling people not to come that probably won't hurt them if they come. I have not made a decision on masks yet. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. If I make a decision that you don't agree with, please, 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 don't post it on Facebook. Don't share it with anybody. You can come and talk to me about it. Please understand, I'm trying to do the best thing I can to get our church back together and get us back on track. This is not easy. So please work with me. And so that's what we're working on. But the reason that I'm doing this, I have no desire to thumb my nose at the authorities. I have every intention. I have been talking to the mayor and to the chief of police. I will not only talk to them about this, I will give them a copy of what we're doing. I plan on getting a hold of the county supervisor for where I live, and I believe the county supervisor for where I live and the county supervisor for our church is located as 2 different men. I will make sure they have a copy of it. We're not trying to be sneaky. We're not being arrogant. We're not thumbing our nose at anybody. But it is time for the church to get back to being a church. And if for whatever reason you just don't feel like you can do that right now, we will continue to do live streaming for you. Please understand, I love you. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. But we're going to have the doors open. If you choose to stay home, fine. We'll still minister to you. I'm still your pastor. I was on a meeting several weeks ago. Brother Clarence Sexton pastors a church running 7,000 in Knoxville, Tennessee. And they have 300 and something Bible classes and Sunday school classes. And Tennessee opened up way before we did, and they opened up their services probably a month ago. Brother Sexton talked about a man in his church that's been teaching Sunday school for 30 plus years. They called him and said, "Pastor, I'm sorry, but we will not be there until this is over." And he said, "Brother, that is just fine. I understand. I love you. We're still on the same team. I'm not going to get upset with anybody. I will tell you right now, if I make the decision that masks are optional, and you are of the opinion that masks should be worn by everybody, then wear your mask, but don't give anybody a hard time if they don't wear a mask."
They're having a hard time hearing you.
They're having a hard time hearing me. I don't know.
That one's not working. You're using the pulpit mic.
Just use the pulpit. This one's not working because the lapel might cut out on me. I was afraid it would do that. So, all right. I'm going to say, can you hear me now? Please answer. Let me know. Is that better?
It's going to take them a few
Okay.
seconds.
So when they respond with a yes, give me a thumbs up, I'm going to keep going. My point is this. There is no perfect way to do this. But folks, if we follow the governor's plan, as he originally laid it out, churches would not be meeting until September or October, and the flu season would be upon us. We cannot do that. We simply cannot do that. And so these are the reasons that I'm making this decision. When we come back together, you're going to see people and you're going to be glad to see them, but there can be no handshaking, there can be no fist bumping, there can be no elbow bumping, there can be no hugging, none of that. There can be waving with a smile. You're going to come in the main door and go out the back door. We'll have the back door open so you don't have to touch the door when you go out. There's all kinds of details, little details, and you got to understand something. Pastor's brain doesn't think about details. But there's a ton of details that have to be taken into account. And so I need your help. You say, preacher, what is it that you need? All right, I'm glad you asked. I'm coming in for a landing. Here's what I need. Number one, I need you to be faithful. If you're going to be able to come to the services, I need you to be faithful to the services. Don't do this. Now, if you're in a place where you say, I can't risk it, I've got to stay home, then be faithful to the online services. But if you're going to be here, and 8:30 is, well, that's the service that just really lights your cup up, and you're excited about that cup, and your week comes to be here at 11:30. Don't stay home because you don't like the 11:30 time. You be in church. Okay, we've got to do this. Look, we've got to show people church is essential, and that we can do it, and do it well, and do it right. Okay? So I need you to be faithful. Number two, I need you to be involved. Preacher will be here every service preaching. That's 3 services on Sunday morning. That's Sunday night. And if the jail opens up, that's likely the jail ministry on Sunday afternoon as well. Because that's what preacher does. Okay? So, I can't do everything. I can't preach and sanitize the auditorium and clean the bathrooms. Not that I'm above any of that. The way these pews are set up, I did all of this. I didn't ask anybody to come down and help me because I wanted to look at it and get it right. I asked for a little bit of input, but I physically did it all, and I have no problem doing that. But I'm going to need some people that will help with the media and the sound. But understand this: if you're thinking about helping with media and sound, you're going to have to have your brain on, because you cannot sit back there and go to sleep on it. There'll be too much that's going on. We have a new company coming in tomorrow to put in a new internet that will allow us to do a better job with our live streaming, and will allow us to add graphics to our live streaming and show words for songs in our live streaming. And you're going to have to be able to switch from that back to the camera, back and forth. It's a lot of work. But I don't expect 1 or 2 men, 1 or 2 people, it could be ladies back there working on care, but I don't expect 1 or 2 people to be here for all 3 services. Okay? Miss Hannah's not going to play for all of these services. I've already asked Celine. I guess I did tell her, but I kind of was meant to ask her. And Celine, I apologize for that. I scared her to death yesterday. But at the time that her family is scheduled to be here, she's going to be playing for the services. She'll be playing for congregational, she'll be playing for the offertory, she'll be playing for a soloist, she'll be playing for the invitation, she's going to do the whole thing. So twice a week, she's going to be playing in the service. So I need involvement. I need people to say, I've got 3 ladies right now that are doing wellness phone calls. They'll continue to do that as we go through this phase. So I need faithfulness. I need involvement. And I need understanding. You have to understand, please. Hours have been spent on this. I have a file that I'm carrying around with me right now, a file folder that is literally this thick with information on how to reopen churches. I have a meeting tomorrow with Pacific Justice Institute. They have a checklist that I can go through. There's 95 items on their checklist for reopening services. This is, and I'm thankful for that. We don't want to just throw the doors open. I think there's some churches in this country that have done that, and they've had some problems. We want to avoid any problems. The Lord has been good to us. We have not had anybody in our congregation that have contracted the coronavirus. I'd like to keep that going. Okay? So if you get up on a Sunday morning and you don't feel well, don't say, well, I think it's just my allergies. Don't come. We'll have this. Look, we're not picking one service on Sunday morning to live stream. We'll live stream all three of them. I'm going to live stream all three of them. If you get a chance and you're here for one, I'll watch the other two. You say, why should I do that? You'll find out preacher doesn't preach the message exactly the same way every time. The three services will be different. So, please help me. Is there a question?
Yeah, they want to know about visitor bags.
I'm working on the visitor bag situation. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I would like to have visitor bags, and I want to do some things on that, but I have not gotten to that part of this yet. So I will let them know. We're going to be very careful with whatever we do. Offerings are not going to be the same. It is most likely, because of the drive-in services, you guys are getting used to you're getting in the habit of driving by for the day and dropping money in the bucket. It is likely that we're going to just have a bucket or two in the back, and you can just put your offering in as you're leaving. And we'll get back to having offerings in here, but for the time being, we'll do that. I will tell you one thing that I don't know the timing of this. I am anxious to have the Lord's Supper. But it's going to be a little while. Because again, we want to do that safely. We want to do it right. So, please pray for your pastor. I've been asking you to pray about this for a while. I do believe it's time. Besides me doing this, I know there are a lot of churches in California that are opening up on the 31st. Some churches already have opened up. And they've done well. They've been fine. So if we, I'm working on a contingency plan. If we start getting, if visitors come, I'm not going to turn visitors away. So I'm going to be prepared, and I don't know how this is all going to work, but in my mind, I've already been thinking about this. If we're going to try to keep the auditorium to a certain number, and we get visitors that would move us over that, I will have a place set up. Hopefully I can do this here on the property, where I may ask some of our people to slip into a room where there's still social distancing and watch it on the TV. So we make room for visitors to be here. I haven't even decided yet exactly how we're going to do invitations. What's that?
Erin is responding to your Lord's Supper, and she said, we'll bring our own crackers and juice.
I don't trust you guys to bring your own crackers and juice. Some of you bring a gallon jug and a loaf of bread.
Apparently that was Mrs. Cosby.
Yeah. So, but church, let me say this. Let me brag on you for a minute as I close. You have been so good at adapting to whatever has come our way. And we have adapted to situations we didn't like. We adapted to the building on Davis Street. We adapted to the building on Dewey Street.
getting in here, we had to adapt. We had more space here, but we had to adapt. And now we're adapting again. And what I see is, I see a group of people that have pulled together in a marvelous way. And it's one of the reasons why I get the privilege of pastoring the greatest church in America, and I mean that with all my heart. So let's do it again. Let's keep doing it. Let's do it for God's glory and God's honor. And let's come out of this as the church in Hanford that is committed to the Great Commission. I am praying and asking God for some big things for our church. And I believe He's going to do it. I don't know when, but I believe He's going to do it. So let's ask God to do great things in our church. Let's be faithful. Let's get involved. Let's have an attitude that, preacher, what do you need? Preacher, what do you need? Preacher, what do you need? That's the attitude we need to have. So we're opening up. Sunday's our last drive-in service. We'll set everything up one more time out there. I like it. I like having the drive-in church. It's fun. Brother Josh suggested Sunday, said we ought to do it once a year. Maybe we will for a special Sunday. I don't know yet. But I can't wait to get back in here. And it's going to be hard. The hardest thing for me is going to be not shaking hands. I'll do my best, though. All right? So there's a lot of little details that still need to be put into this plan, but I wanted to start tonight telling you how I'm going to do this, what we're going to do, and let's move forward, and let's do it in a great way. Let's do it in a way that brings honor and glory to God. I love you. Let's pray. Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for a great group of people that you've assembled together and called together at New Testament Baptist Church. And Lord, I pray for each family in our church. I ask you to guide them, direct them, give them great wisdom. Be with the men of our church as they lead their families during this time. Give them great wisdom. Father, I pray that we will come out of this as a stronger church with a greater testimony for the cause of Christ. I ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to show you what this auditorium looks like. Those of you that are sitting, stay seated. You're going to be on the camera. All right, so what we've done is we've set up the side section here. Those rows are 6 feet apart. There's Mrs. King waving at everybody. 9 chairs in the back. The center section has 3 sections, 3 rows, set up in such a way that they're 6 feet apart and they're 6 feet apart from the side section. And then we have it over here. The reason I did this is it still has the semblance of our auditorium, and when we get together, you put 50 people in here and we do it right, it's still going to look pretty full. And that's a good feeling. And so that's what we're working on, okay? And David Roberts says, hi, Brother Mio, okay? And so that's what this is looking like. We've just got a little bit of work to do, still a few things that I need to put in place. But thank you so much for being faithful, and thank you so much for praying for me. I appreciate it. Hannah, if you want to start playing some music back there. Folks, I love you. Have a good evening.
souls. We're gonna have, I'm gonna have a spot for the souls. So what they come well, that's what we had to count on.
My eardrums out.
Well, that's why I couldn't get through it.
So how did that go? Was that good?
I've got to find, it's not just any camera, you gotta have a camera that will work for live stream. With that camera, we're relying on her to pick up what's going on. That's really I'll research that out. Thank you, Mrs. Gagne. Bye.
Anything else on there tonight? We had a lot of good responses. Or comments about that's a good plan, Pastor, or the books and whatever it is.
I've been traveling here in this life with this heartache, trouble and strife. Sometimes Satan tries to tell me to turn aside. I say, Satan, get
Well, what do you think?
no return.
The arrangement's not so bad.
What's that?
The arrangement's not so bad. I thought there's going to be more of those.
No, because I don't want to go over 50. We probably could spread this back on what the whole thing is. But there's 11 of these red chairs over here that I need to get an upholstery fixed because they got staples up and stuff. So it's going to be a challenge with 88 chairs to space out 50 people. But I can't go by. We had 115 chairs in here. One pastor said you need to look at doing 20 to 25% of your seating capacity. So that'd be 30. Okay. Well, if I did 30, I'd have to have 4 services. And I don't. That's what Brother Chapel's doing that on the 31st. He's having 4 services. His last service will be 2 o'clock. Wow. And then he's going to have a Sunday night service. You see, they're not letting anybody come on Sunday night, Wednesday night. I am. So we're going to do that. But so 50 is still in here. That's going to look good, but we got to do it in a way where I've got everybody seated. And if a visitor or two comes in, we've got a spot for them without sticking them right up on the front row. So, that's the challenge here.
Because I was wondering also, besides with Brother Chapel, then also you got Brother Sears, then you got...
Brother Sears Church is already started. I don't know how, I know how they're doing it. And like I'm doing, they're actually having a seating chart. So people come in, they're actually telling them, you sit here. Well, Brother Neil, that's why I did the drive-in church. People couldn't just drive in and park. We had to tell them, you park here.
I wish I did have a vehicle, so I could see Sunday morning.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, yes. But if you want to come on Sunday, you can come on. We've had some people, we just set some chairs off. You can come on Sunday, that's fine.
Okay, Sunday morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Because and then with North Love, and then I was wondering, and also how's Brother Owens doing it on his church?
he's already started on that.
Okay. This